Hi, I'm Madison, coming to you live with breaking news from Augusta, Georgia on Chlamydia trachomatis, one of the most prevalent bacteria-causing infections of college students today. First, let's start with some background information on this bacteria. Chlamydia trachomatis is a spherical, gram-negative intracellular parasite of eukaryotic cells. It has a glycolytic pathway and a tricarboxylic acid pathway. It also has glucose derivatives and glycogen synthesis to help support its metabolism. The bacterium produces energy through the use of a form of electron transport. The temperature range is 35 to 37 degrees Celsius, and it is an obligate aerobe. It is also an envelope virus. Chlamydia trachomatis consists of about 1,042,519 nucleotide base pairs and about 894 protein coding sequences. Chlamydia trachomatis infects the mucosal epithelial cells, typically in the genitourinary tract. It can also infect the epithelial cells in the oral cavity and the eye. It's very unlikely, though, because this bacteria prefers the genital region. Once it's transmitted, the bacteria infect the host cell and exist as non-infectious reticulate bodies that reproduce via binary fission. The bacteria are then able to differentiate into the infection-causing form called elementary bodies. These deliver effector proteins into the host cell that induce the cell to endocytose the bacteria. Chlamydia trachomatis then directs modifications to create a protective compartment called the inclusion. The protective compartment gives the bacteria a safe place to multiply and transform into the infectious version, the elementary body. Chlamydia trachomatis itself lacks most of the enzymes that it needs for replication, meaning that they strongly rely on the host for these enzymes. Long-chain acyl-CoA synthetases, or ACSLs, are enzymes from the host cell that are needed to convert fatty acids into acyl-CoA for use in metabolic pathways. The ceramide transfer protein, or CERT, and high-density lipoprotein are also needed from the host for biosynthesis and lipid degradation. So, how do you know if you have chlamydia and when to see a doctor? Now, let's head over to Dr. Abby to learn more about the symptoms of chlamydia.
Many cases that occur in both men and women are asymptomatic. If symptoms do occur, they're usually a result of the inflammatory response, and they usually start about 1 to 2 weeks after exposure. Some symptoms for men include gray or white discharge from the urethra, in addition to testicular pain. Some symptoms for women include increased vaginal discharge, abnormal vaginal bleeding, and also abdominal pain. In addition to those symptoms for women are also pain during sexual intercourse and also painful urination. If chlamydia is left untreated, pelvic inflammatory disease can occur as a result of it.
Wow, Abby, thanks so much for telling us all about the symptoms of this infection. Now, you may be wondering, how do I contract this infection and how does my body fight it off? So it is acquired through the transmission of genital secretions from someone who is infected. It can also be acquired from mother to child during childbirth. It colonizes in the genitourinary tract, but it can also colonize in the conjunctival epithelium. If it's untreated, it can potentially spread to the gastrointestinal tract. If an infant receives it from the mother, the infant can get a dangerous eye infection called conjunctivitis. The bacteria prevents infected cells from presenting antigens to T cells. It can synthesize a protein that interferes with MHC synthesis that allows the bacteria to avoid detection via the MHC molecules. It's also capable of inhibiting MHC antigen complex formation, keeping the MHC molecules on the surface of the presenting cell from detecting the antigens. The bacteria can also inhibit the immune response of apoptosis in infected cells, which allows for the reticular bodies to replicate and develop using the host cell. Let's head over to Ansley in Sylvania, Georgia to hear what she has to say about the chain of infection and the treatment of this disease.
Hey Madison, first I'm going to tell you about the epidemiology of Chlamydia trachomatis. It is spread via genital secretions during oral, anal, and vaginal sex, and it can also be passed during childbirth. The chain of infection of Chlamydia trachomatis is as follows. Number 1, source of infectious agent, which is the human reservoir. Number 2, portal of exit, which is the genitourinary tract. Number 3, transmission, which is vertical transmission such as conjunctivitis in babies, and horizontal direct contact transmission such as sexual activity. Number 4, portal of exit, which is the genitourinary tract, oral, and the end of the digestive tract, which is the anus or rectum. Now I'm going to tell you about the treatment and prevention of Chlamydia trachomatis. Azithromycin inhibits bacteria growth, specifically Chlamydia trachomatis, by interfering with protein synthesis. It binds to the 50th
about the chain of
subunit
infection
ribosome
and the treatment
and
of this
prevents
disease.
mRNA from being translated. Doxycycline also inhibits protein synthesis. However, it binds to the 30th ribosomal subunit. As a result, tRNA cannot bind to the mRNA, and amino acids are unable to add polypeptide chains, which stops proteins from being made. Infection from Chlamydia trachomatis can be avoided with abstinence, monogamous relationships, and condoms. Sexually active people should be tested once a year or more, depending on the number of sexual partners. If you are infected with the bacteria, taking the antibiotic properly and staying sexually inactive for at least a week after taking it will likely eliminate the bacteria. There is currently no vaccine available for chlamydia prevention. However, there is current research being conducted in order to create one. Thank you.
Thanks, Ansley. Let's head over to Abby to close us out on why this is prevalent on college campuses.
According to the CDC, the college students ages 18 to 24 account for approximately 65% of chlamydia cases. So this is definitely this is definitely a disease that affects many college students our age. As in a way to mitigate this, many colleges are implementing safe sex practices that can benefit students, like providing condoms in university health centers, providing human resources that both men and women can talk to if they are sexually active.